Ground and pound. Ground and pound. Ground and pound.
Elias Stefanescu for GnP-TV here in Zurich at the Frota Academy, and as you can see on my left, the man behind of everything here, Augusto Frota. Nice to see you.
Nice to have you here.
Thank you very much. Augusto, we wanted to take this time to get to know you a little better, because in the jiu-jitsu world you're well known, I guess, but for the ground and pound views especially, now is the time to ask you some questions. The first one I would ask is, how did you get into, I want to say MMA, into fighting in general? I mean, you started with soccer, I heard, and how did you find the love to jiu-jitsu?
I was back on the days, I was a very active sports person. I started actually with swimming because I had, like, how do I say, I born with some breathing problems, so they said I had to swim since from 6 to 12. And then first time I could escape from swimming, I went for soccer. And I played in very, how do I say, professional juniors in a team in Brazil. And in '94, they chose some players after the World Cup in America, you know, so I was picked one of them and I went to play in the US, you know, and it was a collective sport, you know, so I played quite well in Brazil, salon soccer, indoors, we call. And then I was playing in the big field. I was transferred to Memphis. I lived in a small town in Millington and was playing soccer there. But besides it was a collective sport, I had a lot of, how do I say, I had a lot of fights in the field. Because I was small, and back on the days in America, they kind of didn't play, soccer was not on the tradition, and they thought I was playing like American football or something. A skinny guy from Brazil, passing around them, you know, so after I passed one, the second one always came and hit me, you know, so I was tired. It was first week, second week, and then third week, from the third week away, I start fighting, and so every game they say, oh, the crazy Brazilian guy is gonna fight again, you know, so, and then back on the days I discovered in the soccer fields in America I could fight very well, you know, so I went back to Brazil, I said, stop with this soccer life, you know, this collective sport, I'm gonna do some sport for me, you know, and then fighting was in my brain. Then as 90% of all the guys for my time, you know, they saw UFC, you know, Royce Gracie, you know, and they said, and then I tried jiu-jitsu, you know, I tried several martial arts, but jiu-jitsu was the one who most convinced me, you know, because it was very effective. And you know, and it was just amazing, you know, that I was training first time doing sparring with a girl, and the girl could finalize me 4 or 5 times, and I said, wow, is everybody like that? And I'm training with this other skinny guy, and then finalize me as well. So no, this must be really good. So I would stay that. So I started with 17, now I'm 38. You can do the math, you know. So it was an amazing sport.
You had a fantastic career, did nearly everything, not only jiu-jitsu, but I heard you also worked a long time for Swiss Bank. How could you combine it with all the sport?
It was really tough, you know, because I was not respected as a banker. I was not respected as a fighter, you know, because, you know, the guys in the private bank, you know, they thought, oh, this guy will never make a career because he's fighting this crazy sport. You know, now it's recognized, you know, people recognize MMA, but back in the days it was really, to fight MMA, you had to have really, I don't know, you had to be really tough, you know, and because it was something new, you know, so I would not say only crazy guys, you know, but only the really tough guys would fight, you know. Nowadays it has a lot of amateur tournaments, you know. You can do a proper career, you know, fighting amateur, good teams, you know, that you can train, you know. So back on the days was rough, you know, so we didn't have much opportunity to learn, and I was working in the bank, and I had a chance to have my parents paying for my career or having sponsorships, you know, so I had to work in the bank, use my holidays for fighting, you know, but I did quite far for a banker, you know, so so I could enjoy the martial art. I could learn, I could meet awesome people, could travel to different locations, could fight in the best federations in the world, and I could, most important, kept experience to pass forward for my students, you know. I think that was most important, you know. But it was really tough to work in the bank, to be fighting, you know. It was really tough, but I don't know how I did it, so, but it was a quite hard time for me, but I did it.
How did you meet the Nogueira brothers, and how did it all come together with the Frota Academy, Team Nogueira?
The guys, I met them back in 2000. I knew him already before, because he's from the north of Brazil as well, so I used to meet in tournaments, And I think '99 he fought Ruleta in the Worlds, and he moved back to America. Back then I was training with Pablo Popovich, was teaching Pablo Popovich's academy in America, and Nogueira asked me to join him to help him out, And me and my brother built up his dojo in America, so his first dojo in America, and I was following him in his first MMA fights, and from then began a relation, of a teacher and a student, But before I had amazing teachers like Ademilson Brits, Juquinha, and Marcos Aurelio, So all my teachers, I moved from their academies because of location, and they always indicate me in the next one. I have an awesome relation with everybody. I'm very pleased to everybody who could contribute to my knowledge nowadays. And Nogueira is just a friend, is a master, is someone that I can good laugh about it, So he's an amazing person, He's pound for pound the most popular fighter in Brazil, So he's a big heart guy, and it's really amazing, He's in some place, that someone important is there. He has a karma, he has a charisma, amazing charisma, If someone knows him personally, know what I'm talking about. So he's someone, that he put me to fight, So I was training them. I was in the bank, and I was training, sparring with him a little bit. Say, hey, man, you should fight. Say, no, man, I'm working in the bank. Said, no. And then he gave some calls to Holland, to Martin de Jong, and said, I have a fight for you in 1 month. Please train. And I had no other way, I train and start to fight, and I get addict, you know what I mean? So it's his fault, that I start to fight, normally, but I don't regret anything. He was an amazing person that really changed the direction of my life for good, So thanks to him, I have this energy, this way to speak to my students and pass forward what I learned with him as a person, as a teacher, and as a friend as well.
You're talking about his gym. You opened a new big gym yourself, a big facility. What are your highlights here?
No, what I wanted to do is a place, a comfortable place for people normally that never look for martial arts. A place that they can come, they can work out, they can bring the family, And we're really interested here in the education, for martial arts, you know what I mean? Here is not only about to build professional fighters and so on, we have here, we want here to teach you the martial art how it is, like fundamentals, history of the martial art. We have introduction course, we set up goals for our students. We work with consulting for you to change your sportive life, and also our goal here is to have a good environment. If you are looking for release your stress, if you're looking to become a competitor, if you're looking to socialize, if you're looking for losing weight, so we have to be a school, be worried about, about all these aspects. So for us, it's other jiu-jitsu schools, other MMA schools are not competition for us. Competition for us is any sport provider, because in the end of the day, we're a sports provider. We want to change people lifestyle. That's my goal here.
So that's what you mean, that you do things quite different in comparison to others, right?
Yes, we try to do it, to try to innovate, So we have introduction course to Jiu-Jitsu. We're going to have a specific graduation for MMA as well. It's all about having goals, to people. Biggest problem in the martial arts, why people quit, is because they don't have a goal. So we try to have a goals here for people, create a good environment, a friendly atmosphere, and in a good location, Zurich, with a nice setup, So it's very important for me that we can offer that kind of excellence,
You do also a lot of big seminars with big names in Jiu-Jitsu and in MMA. How do you put it all together that so many stars are here?
Most of them, they are friends of mine, or they are built by a network from Nogueira, So we have, I'm old, man. I'm 38 already, so you think I know a lot of people. Most of these guys, when I start training, they still like blue belt or purple belt, So back, some years ago. So we have good relation with them, you know, and they see how we treat them. They like to come here. They feel really good, you know what I mean, coming here, and they always come, and you know, that's a build-up of good relations. So here in the school's open only 5 months. You had here Bochecha, Leandro Ló, Rodolfo, Braulio Estima, Nogueira, Davi Ramos, Felipe Preguiça. We had Durinho now. So this is almost a seminar every 3 weeks, you know, with the best in the world, pound for pound best in the world, you know. So, and you know, I feel that I need to give that back to my students, you know. So it's very important for inspiration, not only positions, because position nowadays, you go to YouTube, you have 3,000, you know what I mean? I don't know how many positions, you know. So, but believe me, guys, a video cannot replace a teacher, you know, a creation of atmosphere, correct atmosphere, you know. So you have to have a teacher, someone, a leadership. You have to learn how to follow rules, dojo etiquette, you know. So that's the beautiful part of the martial arts. Martial arts is not only positioning, it's understanding of this complex world that have been created by the Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu. Now that's the fun part as well. So it's very important those people, not only for position, but for inspire us, you know, to do things better, you know. So can you imagine if you do soccer and you have Ronaldo, Messi, you have all those guys coming to hang with you, to play with you, you know, this is amazing. So enables dream of many students, you know, that's to meet that people, to have them around, you know, to hear a bit about the stories, you know, so that's awesome.
Yeah, another thing I wanted to ask is the Swiss market. How big do you think is it for BJJ, for MMA, and how did it change in the last years? Maybe did you help a lot to grow?
Yeah, I have been practically a pioneer from MMA and Jiu-Jitsu in Switzerland, and I'm leading both federations, you know, in Switzerland. So, of course, with the help of a lot of partners. But Switzerland's a small country, you know. Therefore, you know, it's really it's everywhere in Germany, many European countries. It's hard to grow that sport because we still compare to violence sometimes, you know. So we still like have this bad image from this sport, you know. So it grows, but grows very slowly, you know. Of course, we have every day more people practicing these sports, MMA and Jiu-Jitsu. There's more schools, there's more competitors, you know, there's more tournaments, you know. But the growth is very slow, very, very slow, you know. 10 years ago, I was speaking, yeah, this is going to be a boom, you know. It's still very, very slow, you know. And the parameters of the growth that we're going to have for the next years, really don't know, you know. So we see UFC went to Germany, you know. We expect much more viewers, you know, in the arena, you know. So if UFC cannot fill up an arena that has the whole market concept behind, the whole publicity, you know, do you think the regional event will do it, you know? So it's very tough, you know. But we're doing some events, show to amateur. We have the Swiss Championship in 1 week, and we have 8 tournaments for the Swiss Federation of Jiu-Jitsu. We're working together closely with IBJJF as well. We're producing as well the Open Zurich, you know, that's the biggest tournament in Switzerland.
You told me you have some innovations planned.
Yes, we have. Soon we're gonna speak about it. So, but the Open Zurich, we have almost 600 competitors each event. You know, so it's quite huge. In Switzerland, strategically is a very good point. You know, because the middle of Europe is border with Germany, border with Italy, border with France. You know, with Austria as well. So it's really middle of Europe. You know. And it's really strategic, so a lot of events trying to come here now. So we just closing as well a deal with a brand. We cannot talk about it yet, the name, you know, until contract's closed, but it's like Super Challenge, like Metamoris style, you know, normally. And it's a full setup of pay-per-view as well. And we bring in that to this part of Europe, and it's gonna be really great. That we're gonna do it in 2016. Okay, so Germany, you're gonna be one of the market as well. I show you personally the videos, but again, I cannot tell you the name, you know, because we still didn't sign any contracts. But it's gonna be like, you know, so we have Jiu-Jitsu, we have the 8 events a year here in Switzerland, and we're gonna have this challenge, super fights, of jiu-jitsu as well, gi and no gi, that we're gonna bring to different countries in Europe, in 2016. There's gonna be a good setup, The events already existing in the world. It's quite famous, and we're gonna bring to Europe next year.
Sounds great then. We can't wait for 2016. Talking about big events, you also are involved in HIT FC. You did a great show here in Zurich as well. What does the future bring, and how did the first event go?
First event did great, because now we have 3 events next year, and we're supposed to have a second event this year, but as we close a TV deal, I'm telling you firsthand to you guys, they push us to start it next year, so they have more time to create TV slots and so on, So we have to program our events according to the slots that they give to us, So we depend on them now. So, but was a very good project. We could have some good names, ex-UFC fighters, ex-K1 fighters, some good local fighters as well. Bushkamp was fighting on the event as well. We had quite organized, quite good show, clean stuff. Was really nice. And we will do a minimum 3 events next year. They will not, at least one who should be in Switzerland, and the rest we check which country you're gonna go. But normally we should do 3 events next year, So that's our main goal, besides everything. So it's a great project. People love it. Everybody's writing. Fighters are writing to know when we're gonna do the next one, that they want to fight for it. You know what I mean? So it's an innovation that we're gonna have. We're gonna have amateur fights as well. So all the Swiss fighters, you wanna fight in HIT FC, please start to fight in Shoto, because we pick all the fighters from HIT FC from Shoto, Switzerland, because that's the main federation, Swiss federation for MMA. And we have to collect the fighters, amateur fighters from the federation, the working federation in Switzerland.
Yeah, next year, as I hear, a lot of things are coming. Also, you mentioned Martin Buschkamp right now. He's a pupil of yours. He's unbeaten right now. UFC prospect. A lot of people are talking about him. What can you give us? Can give us an update? What's going on with him?
At the current moment, he's in Brazil. He just wrote me now. He just wrote me now. And he's taking time off in Brazil, but he was studying a lot as well. And I think he has a fight in GMC next April. And, we had, we offer him to UFC. They say he's valuable. But they don't have no open places now. It's like when you have a job, have no opening positions, so they are not hiring nobody at the moment at his weight, So he's a top name in Europe. It's very hard to match him up. You guys don't know, So it's very hard to find an opponent for him because everybody with the same record than him don't want to take a chance to lose a fight, because everybody is on the run to fight in Bellator or UFC. And a fight, when you have a streak win of 10 fights, is a catastrophe, So that means you have to wait another half a year, 1 year. So nobody wants to risk fighting with him, So he's a tough kid, He's a great kid. His brother as well is really good jiu-jitsu, and now it took a little bit time off now because of his studies as well. But as a great, those guys have a great jiu-jitsu, So really amazing athletes.
You're talking about athletes. Who do you think will come over from Switzerland? Do you have any talents in your eyes, so to speak, that will get to know the world in the next year, maybe?
Yeah, we have a lot of talents, split from different teams, I can speak for some that are fighting in Shoto, Switzerland, because I see them fighting. So there's a lot of guys from Icon Jiu-Jitsu, from Geneva, from Fight Move Academy, from our academy, and some other gyms. Yeah, they have some good names. And the good thing is that amateur events gives a lot of experience, to expose them for the international market, you know what I mean? So it's very beneficial, that you have those tournaments, because everybody now, they want to fight professional, So it's tough, Sometimes in Japan, for example, in my time, a guy before goes professional, he had 30 amateur fights. So a B-class fighter in Japan is taking a A-class fighter from Europe 15 years ago. Now my time, 10 years ago, was for nothing, you know, because they have this amateur experience. So it's really beneficial to fight more amateur fights, you know, because, you know, it has to be like a thing, like a jiu-jitsu tournament, a grappling tournament. You have to fight if you have opportunity, fight every weekend, you know, because it does not go to the Sherdog record. You don't have the same pressure, and you acquire experience. Experience is not only is dealing with your mental, dealing with your, you know, with this mental stress, with the whole competition environment, you know what I mean, making quick decisions, you know, cutting weight, so you have enough time to learn these things, you know, so before you try to fight professional, you know, so it's very important that you fight amateur, you know, so that's my thing. And in Switzerland, there is some good, really good fights. I do not recall the name of them, but Icon has a lot of good fighters. We have some good fighters as well, amateur-wise, and we have some prospects in Jiu-Jitsu as well and MMA. So,
yeah, my last question. I think we took a lot of time. Thank you for that. On a personal level, what's your goal besides of what you've already told us? What's your goal for 2016?
Personal goals is like have everything working in the gym, you know. We have already a good setup here, and focus in creating the new programs, you know, focus in giving support to the competitors, you know, and just be producing the events, doing a correct job, you know, inspiring people, having the best people in the world here, you know, and be able to enable dreams of those guys who want to fight, those guys who want to be here to learn, you know, and really have a big, how do I say, put big efforts in the education, you know, from Jiu-Jitsu and MMA and all the other martial arts we offer, you know. So that's my biggest goal, you know, just see people happy here in my dojo, you know. Doesn't matter if it's after competition, winning medals, doesn't matter if it's when he gets a belt, doesn't matter if it's, you know, only a pleasure to be here. So my goal is to deliver something solid, you know, change people life, you know, through the sport, bringing positivity, you know. The world now is full of stress, you know, so it's very important that we have this discharge of adrenaline, you know, to relax, to become, to do things better, you know, in life.
Wish you the best. Thank you very much for having us, and thank you for your time.
Thank you, everybody. Have a great evening to everybody.